All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? So today we're going to talk about the importance of and how to have a proper high firm pistol grip. All right. Um, Today we're using a Springfield XD. This is a 45 caliber, and it's a great gun because it has a heavy tension spring up here in the slide. And so basically, I have all my students run through basic firearms manipulation with this, because if they could do it on here, they go back to their own personal firearm and it's much easier for them. So anyways, good high firm pistol grip is important because I see a lot of people picking up guns all sorts of different ways. They're doing this. I see this a lot. um, I've I've seen all sorts of weird stuff. So it's important to get used to having a proper high firm pistol grip when dealing with a firearm. So then that way, in terms of grade stress, when you're falling back on the greatest training level of training you've ever received, you'll always have good muscle memory and a good solid firm pistol grip. So what does that look like? I'm a righty, so I'm going to take my right hand, my dominant hand, and this right here, this lump, is known as the meaty portion of the J hook. All right. So I'm going to make a J, meaty portion. And I'm going to just slide that up in there nice and tight so that there is no gap between my meaty portion and this piece of the firearm here called the dovetail. All right. And you can see this here has a pistol grip safety mechanism, and it also has a trigger safety mechanism. So by having that good high firm pistol grip, you're actually deactivating the safety on this firearm. It's a great little addition here, feature. So my finger, all right, I got 3 fingers over the pistol grip, meaty portion of my J hook up in there. This is also going to be good for recoil management because if you're holding it down here when you shoot, it's going to be recoil. But when you got that meaty portion of that J hook nicely nestled in there, it'd be great for recoil management to allow you to get back on target faster. So 3 fingers over the actual pistol handle itself. My trigger finger is straight up and off the trigger. This is not properly off the trigger because when you fall or slip or in times of great stress, we as human beings can collapse our hands, and then this will lead to a negligent discharge. But when you're up here all day, also when people are dealing with the SERPA holsters, the one where they have to depress the holster mechanism in order to properly pull out the pistol, I actually like those a lot, but most people don't use them because they've shot themselves so many times, and that also is a byproduct of not having proper finger placement, trigger finger placement in the pistol. So again, meaty portion of the J hook, nice and tight up under the dovetail, my 3 fingers over the pistol grip, and then my trigger finger is straight up and off of the trigger along the body of the firearm there. Okay. Now on this other side here, my thumb, a lot of firearms will have safeties here, and I'll just rest it on that. This here has my slide lock, slide release, so that's pretty useful. But also there's a natural imprint there for my thumb to just rest if I am holding this one-handed. And I can also come on top, like I said there, which is what I'll do with my shooting hand. Thumb up in here, and I'll cinch it in there nice and tight. Now, why do I have my thumb on top of this here? Well, again, we think recoil management. So even if I was shooting with one hand, the goal is to make the front of this barrel move as little as possible. And how do I do that? By having a good, high, firm pistol grip. Shaking probably slightly harder. And think of like your grandpa's handshake. Slightly harder than what you would see nowadays in the business world. But that's really, you shouldn't be shaking in terms of your hand, but you should be like gripping onto it seriously. And then that way, when you bring in your non-dominant hand and you simply cinch it up, put this more in another video, it's getting kind of long here, but you see how I'm covering all that surface area. Grab my arm with 2 fingers, like rip it out, grab it with your whole hand, cover that surface area. You can control as much as possible. All right. And then when you slightly flare these elbows out, not only are you doing a little bit of recoil management here, but what you're doing is you're also tightening and cinching down the grip onto the firearm, but more on that later. So remember, have a meaty portion of your J hook high up in the dovetail, 3 fingers over the actual pistol handle, your trigger finger straight up and off the trigger, and then your thumb coming in, resting naturally on the other side. Shaking as hard as your grandpa would shake your hand back when he was if he's still around or was. So that is a good high firm pistol grip and some of the importance behind it. Make sure you're doing it all the time because again, you always want to have great fundamentals to solidify the neural pathway so that you perform or can send information over those roadways in the brain in times of great stress. Thank you very much. Have a good day.